We are in Psalm 73 for Enough for Today, and we're enjoying this journey. Asaph is descending into a deep pit, an ugly, miry, muddy pit of envy. And envy is it's just a bad place to go. You get your eyes off of God and off the blessings and off the victories of your life, and you get your eyes onto what somebody else has, how somebody else is doing, and there's always somebody that's got it better than you, at least in appearances. And we lose our sense of contentment in what God has given us and where God has placed us and the assignments God has entrusted to us and the opportunities that he's opened up to us, because somebody else always has it better. And Satan's always really good at getting our eyes on those people and those things. It's kind of like, I liked where I lived until I opened up Better Homes and Gardens and found out there was something better. I was thankful for what I had until I went to the mall and found out that there was something better. I liked my phone and my computer until Apple released a faster one and a better one and a longer battery and a more beautiful screen. And I mean, this is the world we live in. We live in a consumer world that wants to keep selling us the next thing based on a cultivated discontentment. Okay. Now, when it comes to consumer products and phones and computers, and fine. I mean, that's, that technology moves, we upgrade, we can do more. That's all good and fine. But the cycle, when it enters into the space of God's blessing, God's appointments, God's design for my life, his provision, and I start to take a commodity or a consumeristic approach to those things, now I'm going down a bad road, because contentment will give way to envy, which will foster discontentment. And that there's just no end to this road. It goes to a deep, dark place. And that's what's happening to Asaph. He is looking at the wicked. He is dissecting and evaluating how they seem to be doing so well. And look where envy takes him. Now, we left off verse 12. These are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. And he's just marveling. He's just, wow, they seem to be doing so well. And I seem to have it so hard. So this argument now, this is all going on inside, and it's building up in him. Now look at his next conclusion. Verily. Now, he feels certain about this in the moment, but this is a misplaced verily, or a truly, or a surely, or a certainly. But this is how deceived he is. Verily, I have cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hands in innocency, naivety. I was foolish when I did this. For all the day long I've been plagued and chastened every morning. So literally in verse 13 and 14, Asaph regrets following God. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I've cleansed my heart in vain. That's an Old Testament view of salvation. I've come to Christ. I've received grace and salvation and mercy in vain. It's not real. It didn't take me to the place of blessing. I've washed my hands in innocency. The concept here of innocency, a condition of freedom from guilt. But the sense of this verse is, I've done this for nothing. I've followed God, and it's gotten me nowhere. Okay, now, there's a couple problems with this thinking. First of all, it's fraught with expectation that I'm going to follow God, and there's going to be a payoff in the near term. Like it's going to be immediately fruitful. I'm going to immediately see the blessing of God. Now, I don't want to make it seem like God doesn't bless us. He absolutely does, okay? But Satan is really good at, in the near term, showing us the hardness of following God in contrast to the pleasure of sin for a season. And in that comparison game, the blessings of God are the best in the long view. They play out in the long term. The long road, the harder road, is the best road. It's the blessed road. The short-term gratification, the short-term fulfillment, the temporary sin pleasure is the deceptive road. But on face value, Asaph is being deceived right now. He is letting his envy take him down a bad road of logic. And to some degree, at least in this season of his life, his motives are being exposed. That he followed God more like a concierge or a genie to get something than out of pure devotion. So he basically cleansed his heart, and there wasn't the payback that he was looking for. He's like, why did I do this? I washed my hands, but there wasn't the blessing in return. Why? I gave to God, but he didn't give back. Okay. Why did I tithe? Why did I sacrifice? Why do I go to church every Sunday, but then this happened? We can bring this logic into our lives. Like God is karma, and that when I do good, he will do good back to me. Like it's a force to leverage. Like the more faith I have, the better behaved I am, the more the dominoes will fall in line in my life in the way I expect them to. Now listen, God's going to be exceedingly good to you. Asaph said that in verse 1. But he's going to be good on his terms and in his timeline and in his ways. And we surrender to that. We follow him not for ulterior motives, but because he's true. He's God. He is he is what is true in life. And who I am in him is who I most truly am. Everything else is a mirage. Everything else is a deception. And so at this point, Asaph feels a very dark regret. That's a very deceptive regret. Verily, I've followed God for nothing. Why did I even become a Christian? Now, that's a New Testament phraseology of it and sense of it. But have you ever felt that way? Why am I following Jesus if it's so hard? Why am I trusting God if it's not seeming to be working out for me in the near term when those that are not trusting him seem to be doing very well? Why did I forsake the pursuit of success and money for devotion to God when it doesn't seem like there's a payoff? My friend, we are all susceptible to this erroneous thinking, but we've got to get our heads out of it. God is good. Following God leads us to a good destination, even if in the short term or the near term, life is harder than we expected it to be. Now, we're going to pause it here. We're going to pick it up here tomorrow, and we're going to continue to track along with Asaph's journey because it goes to very good places. It's a very dark place right now, but the sun's going to rise. Happy Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.